Hey, this is Dancing Rabbit, and welcome to another Saturday Pagan Perspective. This week's topic is reintroductions. I was involved at the beginning of Pagan Perspective and remember Cara and Kyle talking about wanting to establish a collab channel, and so I've been doing videos almost every week for a year now. But I think it's high time that we do reintroductions because an awful lot of our subscribers haven't been around a year. The channel has really grown, over 1,000 subs now, so thank all of you for subscribing. A little bit about my history, sort of who I am, what you could expect from my videos. I grew up as a rather liberal Methodist, and as a teenager got drawn into fundamentalist Christianity, and then as a college student into the charismatic movement. So I feel like I'm quite familiar with that sort of Christianity. I, at the time, committed huge amounts of the King James Bible to memory, so I can quote chapter and verse with the best of them. I became disillusioned with Christianity in my 30s and was searching, and I found Unitarian Universalism, which is my home now, basically what I would call myself if you had to ask me, what is your path, what are you? If you're not familiar with Unitarian Universalism, I encourage you to go to the uua.org website and read all about it. You may discover, as I did, that you've been one for a long time and didn't realize that that's what it was called, or that there even was something like that. I got involved in paganism about 16 years ago after I attended 2 workshops at a Unitarian summer camp. I went to the workshops a skeptic. I really didn't like the idea that my new church, my new faith path, was taking in all of these people that believed in all sorts of superstitious things. I felt like I'd left Christianity to get away from supernaturalism, and then here it had found me in my new home. So that's my attitude going in. Coming out of the workshops, I was convinced that this is what I had probably been for a long time, and this is what I was looking for. Paganism met a lot of my deep emotional and spiritual needs for a mythology. I don't mean a group of stories that's not true or fiction. I mean sacred stories. Stories that tell in symbolic language sacred truths that you really can't tell or understand in just ordinary normal language. We don't have words for it. We do have images and symbols. Paganism also added ritual to my spiritual practices, and I think that as a Unitarian Universalist pagan, I'm probably the ultimate eclectic, borrowing whatever isn't nailed down. I try to do it respectfully if I'm borrowing from another culture that I'm not actually a part of. Probably borrowed more from Neo-Wiccan traditions. I think my first 2 books that I read were The Spiral Dance by Starhawk, which is a sort of Dianic Wiccan tradition mingled with fairy tradition. Scott Cunningham's Solitary Wicca was one of my early books, and I highly recommend it to anybody that's just starting out. Scott was such a gentle and understanding writer that I don't know if he influenced me or if I was already headed in that direction anyway, and it just gave me somebody to say, okay, it's not strange, Scott Cunningham's done it first. As far as mostly what I've done, it's been solitary or with my wife Feather. We did help found a group in Arkansas when we lived there. The group has since gone inactive, and we're currently active in the Rhythm of Life group here in Houston, which will be chartered as a CUPS chapter, that's Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans, in the next month or so. I've been studying brujeria and incorporating some of Mexican folk magic into my practices. And really what I do is more folk magic than high magic. I consider myself sort of a kitchen witch. I like using whatever happens to be handy, being creative, and doing what works as opposed to doing it the way it was written in a book. In fact, when I do cooking, most of it is a pinch of this and a dab of that, and cooking it till it looks done rather than following an exact recipe, especially if it's something I've done before. Here on Pagan Perspective, there have been some of the videos that I've really enjoyed doing, especially if it was something I could do. I'd a whole lot rather show you something or demonstrate something than sit here and talk. My day job is as a school teacher. I'm out pretty much everywhere except at work, and since I'd like to keep my job, I intend to stay quite closeted there. And I'm always amused at the devout Christians who just assume that I'm a good Christian man because I'm nice, I'm kind, and I'm ethical. So I guess in a way it almost doesn't matter what sort of religion you have as long as it works for you, as long as it helps you get through the day and makes you a better person than you would have been. I don't think that my religion is right for everybody. I think that my religion, my path is right for me, and hopefully your path is right for you. Looking forward to working with the new subs and seeing what new things develop this year. So rate the video, make comments, make suggestions as to what you'd like us to discuss in these videos, because then it's something you're interested in. Besides that, we have an awfully hard time thinking of a new topic. Well, before I start rambling too much, this is Dancing Rabbit saying peace.